Hey everyone, so in this video I'll be showing you guys how to name covalent molecular compounds. So if terms like dinitrogen pentoxide or carbon monoxide confuse you, this video will clear it up. So firstly, what are covalent compounds? So a molecular or a covalent compound are just compounds that are made up of two nonmetals. So that means we use a special naming system based on prefixes that will tell us how many atoms are in the molecule. So before we can begin naming, there's three rules we need to remember. So the first rule is that the first element is always going to keep its name, its full name. The second rule is that the second element is always going to end in "ide" for covalent compounds. And then the third rule is that we need to use prefixes to show atoms in each element. Now, there's one exception, and that's if there's only one atom of each of the first element, then we don't use mono. We keep it just the name of the atom. And we'll go over that. But the prefixes that we use are on the right, so it's mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, octa, nona, and deca. Now, some teachers will give you these, and some will have you memorize them, so just make sure you know whether your teacher gives you them or has you memorize them. But now let's go over some examples. So I'll just keep the rules here for the first one, but CO2, you've probably seen it before, CO2. So as we can see, we have one carbon and we have two oxygens. So the first atom is going to stay the same, and because it's only one, we don't say mono. So it's going to be carbon. And then since we have two oxygens, there's going to be a di, because two is di, so it's going to be di. And then it has to end in "ide," so dioxide. And the O shouldn't be capitalized, I just capitalized there to emphasize. But let's try another example. So let's say N2O5. Now here we can see that there are two nitrogens and there are five oxygens. And now the nitrogen, there's more than just one nitrogen, so we add the prefix this time. So it's going to be dinitrogen pentaoxide or pentoxide. Dinitrogen pentoxide. Now let's try one more example together. Let's do NO. Now here we have one nitrogen and we have one oxygen. So this is going to be nitrogen monoxide. And for the second example, we just need to remember that we don't say dinitrogen pentoxide. It's just one word. So it's dinitrogen pentoxide. Now, I'll write some examples out and let you guys pause the video and do them on your own. But for the practice problems, we can do PCl3. We can do SF6, and we can do CBr4. Now feel free to pause the video and try these on your own, but when you come back, you will see that for the first example, the answer is phosphorus trichloride, nothing too complicated there. For the second, the answer will be sulfur hexafluoride. And for the third, it's going to be carbon tetrabromide. So to quickly recap, to name covalent compounds, we need to make sure that we use prefixes to show how many atoms there are. We don't use mono for the first element, and the second element always ends in "ide." So if you follow those rules and you have a periodic table, you should be able to name any covalent compound. I hope this video helped you understand how to name covalent compounds. Thank you.